Well, just between you and I, Carla, absolutely. In fact, I'm shaking in my Ugg boots and tracksuit pants right now.
I'm your host, Carla Egan, and today we're going to be talking about public speaking, engagement, and all things around communication. My guest today is Anna Perdriau from the Speaking Excellence. Now, Anna has a broad range of credentials. Anna, I'm going to read them out because you've got a lot. You've got a bachelor in communications. You've got a master's in business administration, a certification as a world-class speaker. Your specialty is in accent reduction, and you're a published author, and you have NLP credentials. Which is wonderful. Anna's based in Sydney, Australia. And Anna, welcome, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Carla. I'm so excited to be here. Absolutely thrilled.
Our theme today is public speaking. And despite this being one of the core fears in the general public, you're really, really passionate about helping people find their best speaking style. Is that right?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm on a worldwide public speaking mission.
Oh, can you tell us more about that? Because I'm curious to know what that mission is.
Oh, it's very simple and anyone can jump on board. The worldwide public speaking mission is let's ban boring and have fun.
I love that. And I can see your energy coming through.
Oh, thank you. I mean, life is too short to sit through boring presentations.
Let's face it, we've all been there, haven't we? And we all yawn and we check out, and we need them to be engaging and fun. So I mean, that's a really common theme that comes through with you as your brand and through your social media.
Oh, thank you, Carla. I appreciate it. But rest assured, I have definitely I've given those boring presentations as well. So I definitely know what it's like to look out into the audience and see the faces of a boring audience.
Yeah, I have. So what's been the catalyst for you building, a career and building your business around public speaking and communication?
Well, Carla, in my previous life, I was a project director. I worked in the Australian Defence Organisation for 22 years, and we had to deliver a lot of presentations. We had to sit through a lot of presentations. And, I got to the point where sometimes you'd go into that environment and it would be quite intimidating because as the project manager or project director, you were the person that the questions were pointed to, and it was so important that you were on the ball. And I got to the point where I thought, how can I present better? How can I make my presentations more engaging? And that just from there, it just started. And I wanted to know how I could be a better presenter and public speaker. And so it set me off on my journey to learn all about it. And from there, I found my passion for public speaking and for helping people, and those two passions combined, that my business is perfect for that. So, yeah, that's where it came from.
Fabulous. Well, you've been in this arena, this environment for many years. What changes have you noticed in the public speaking industry? And what do we need to know? What's the latest that we need to know about in our current environment?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's definitely been a kind of a switch so previously you would have the person standing there delivering the presentation was like the expert, and everyone sat there and listened to the public speaker. And that still happens today. But now there's a thing called talking head is dead. So people don't want to just listen to a talking head. They want to be engaged. And now, of course, we have all of these tools to engage with. There's technology, and we can engage with our audience because audiences, they've had enough. They want to be engaged. They want to be part of the presentation. So that's one of the big things, one of the big changes is that, and also to remember it's a dialogue with your audience. So you have to remember what's going on in the mind of the audience. That's one of the big things. But if I can also add to that, of course, now with the pandemic that's going on, we've made a big shift from, many people have been working virtually in the past, but a lot of speakers are making that transition to virtual from speaking on stage, and it's a very different dynamic.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because a lot of our meetings, our presentations, client appointments are now conducted in the digital space. So a lot of our meetings right now have transformed onto the digital space now, haven't they? So what type of tips do you share with your clients to actually make that transition to a online environment and still get their message out and heard?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the number one thing is to remember to be present, because even though you're sitting there in the comfort of your own home and there's this sort of feeling of comfort, that just remember it's like you're sitting in a live audience and the speaker can see you. So, we have to be a present audience member as well as a present speaker. So having that respect for the speaker, having the video on, and not sitting there with a resting face, looking uninterested, and all of these things, and leaning into it and being engaged and actually giving that audience that sort of energy, giving that energy to the speaker. Because speakers, they feed off the energy of the speaker. And a lot of people say, oh, when I'm speaking online, I'm not sure what's happening with the audience. So there are ways to engage the audience. So if you can ask the audience questions and ask them to interact with you in the chat box, whatever it is, that's always a powerful thing to keep them going, to let them know, hey guys, this is a conversation, plug in.
Yes, become engaged, participate is an important part because it's very easy to switch your screen off or mute and zone out or do something else while you're in an online meeting. Now, there's a key area, Anna, that I'm curious about in your business. And it's a very niche skill set that you focus on, and that's accent reduction. Can you just elaborate on that and tell us a little bit more?
Thank you. I'd love to. Yes. So I help people, mainly professionals and business owners, a lot of professionals who want to be promoted in the workplace. I help people whose first language is not English, and I help them to become a clearer communicator of English. So what that is it's called accent reduction, but really I like to focus on what the result is, and that's to become a clearer communicator. The thing is, we all have blocks when we speak, communication blocks, and that is a block is simply a word or a sound that is preventing us from not being understood. And the thing is, we all have them. So I'm helping with removing those blocks and becoming a clearer communicator. Because it's so, everyone wants to be heard, everyone wants to be respected, and especially in the workplace, it's so important. So that is what I'm very passionate about, helping people in that area.
It's about getting their message out, isn't it? And finding their best speaking style.
Absolutely.
In a way it can be understood.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes, and for some people, it's hard enough speaking up as it is in a big group in the workplace or whatever it is. That can be quite intimidating to some people. And then if they have an accent on top of that they are feeling a little bit conscious of, then this is something that can really help them to build that confidence.
Love it. I love it. And now on your website, you talk about being the only speaking coach to offer the 7 speaking truths. Can you share a little bit more detail about that? I believe it's a program, but look, I'd love to know a little bit more about these speaking truths.
Well, the 7 speaking truths, I wrote them some years ago, and really they are the foundation for my teachings. Things like a leader is a speaker and a speaker is a leader. So the principle of that is, for example, if you are leading a team, if you're an executive in an organization and you are leading a team and you definitely see yourself as a leader, You might not see yourself as a speaker, but that is a core skill set that you really need to be able to engage your team and get them on board with the vision that you have for wherever you want them to go. So that is one principle that when you expand on it, it's a truth that if you want to be a leader, speaking is a core life skill.
Well said, well said. Now, I know that you actually work with executives in their first 100 days in their role. What kind of results can they expect to receive from working with you?
Yes, the type of results that I love to see in executives is for them to have an engaged team. So this is all about getting on the front foot and getting the message very clear. Because when there's a new leader in the team, people want the leadership. People crave leadership. They want to know what direction they're going in, because when we don't engage our team, things start to just fade back into the normality, and we get a little bit tired, and we want that engagement. So that's the result, is an engaged, excited team.
Excellent. Well, that brings about change as well, because communication there's so many facets of it, and being clear and concise is really important. Now, I know you as the Speaking Stylist. I love that title, by the way. I know you identify as the Speaking Stylist. And so my question for you is, what's the benefit for people being clearer in their communication, and what type of people do you want to work with and that you attract?
Look, I love to help business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals, the executives, and I also help lawyers who want to speak in court and win that case. But the way that I love to help people to become a clearer communicator is through that speaking style, because I believe everyone has a unique speaking style. It's who you are. And what happens when we go to speak to an audience is sometimes we can become a different person. We can become podium man or podium woman. That's what used to happen to me when I worked in the government. I'd become a different person and I couldn't be myself. And so this is about bringing out the authentic speaker in you. That's what the speaking style is all about. And it's a liberating thing. When we can be ourselves in front of an audience and know and have that confidence, that's quite magical, because there is a thing called the fear of judgment and the fear of what others think, and that's very real. And it comes out when we go to speak to an audience. So I love to help people to bring out their authentic speaker.
And your speaking style is coming through in spades. It's wonderful. Now, you are a very polished presenter and a speaker, and given your level of experience and your qualifications, that's not surprising. I just want to switch it up a little bit with you, and I want to talk about your written work, Anna. When you're a published author, and I want to ask you what inspired you to write your book on speaking to hearts and minds.
Oh, well, thank you, Carla, for your kind comments. You're touching my heart. What inspired me to write the book was, that was right after, a little bit after I left the government, and I really wanted to capture the elements, because I'd been through all of these speaking courses. I'd done boot camps. I traveled over to the United States a number of times. I saw the World Championship of Public Speaking. I went to the Professional Speakers Convention, which was just absolutely mind-blowing. And, all of these wonderful things that I'd learned over several years, I wanted to capture those into the book and put my own flair on it, and to help. Ultimately, that book was written to help executives in the government and corporate executives, because, I had sat through a lot of presentations. I'd given those presentations, and they were always a lot of information crammed in. So I really wanted to help people to have engaging presentations and learn the tricks of the speaking greats that I had seen live and up close.
Fabulous. Now, look, just between you and I, as a speaker, do you still get nervous before doing a presentation or going on stage? Like, do speakers, professional speakers get nervous? You can just between us.
Well, just between you and I, Carla, absolutely. In fact, I'm shaking in my Ugg boots and tracksuit pants right now.
Well, that's good to know.
It is, isn't it? But luckily, I have learnt the techniques on how to channel that energy into positive, because that's all nerves are. It's just negative energy. And if we let them, they will consume us. They will take over.
So what about people that are, presenting? What's a good tip for them that you'd suggest to calm those nerves or channel them into positive energy?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a few techniques, and which one should I choose? I'll choose the breathing technique. Okay, so breathing is a huge part of being able to calm those nerves. And I do have a technique that, do we have time to learn it?
Absolutely. I want to learn the technique. Yeah.
Okay, okay, Carla, so we are going to do a breathing technique. This is an amazing technique. And whenever I am feeling nervous before a presentation, I do this and it works like a charm. So I thoroughly recommend. And what it does is it calms down the autonomic nervous system and allows us to get into that positive place. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to breathe in through the nose very slowly for 10 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but so if we just do it slowly, and then we're going to breathe out for 10 seconds. So it's a little bit hard the first time you do it, but are you willing to give it a go?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. 10 seconds. Put the countdown on.
All right, I've got my timer here. So I'll count down 3, 2, 1, go. Ten and out for 10. There we go. How did you go?
It's much harder to breathe in for the 10 seconds. Out, I could have gone longer, maybe 12, 13 seconds. So it actually takes a lot of practice.
It does, yes. Yes. In fact, if you do you do any yoga or anything like that?
No, I don't.
They do breathing, and it's like high up in the nose type breathing. It sounds like a snore when you do it. So I tap into that technique when I do it, because it always allows me to be able to have that breath to keep doing it. So yeah, but it's something that's going to calm you down before you speak and make you feel good.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure our audience that's watching and listening to this will start to develop that technique the next time they're presenting or being online.
Oh, that'll be great.
Now, speaking about online, we are in an online environment. We're having meetings online, we're running events, we're doing interviews, we're meeting clients and our customers online. So let me ask you, what does joining the coaching directory mean to you and your business?
Oh, Carla, the coaching directory is an absolute blessing. To me, the coaching directory is really something special. I mean, Carla has brought all of the coaches together and put us in a one-stop shop and given us a space where we can shine. And I congratulate you, Carla, for that. I think it's absolutely amazing. You know, yes, it's virtual because everyone's online at the moment, and I think that's wonderful. But I just love the way that you have brought the coaches together, given us a place to come in and to be ourselves and to shine. And it's so well organized, and it is just, I absolutely love it. And I congratulate you. And I'm surprised no one's done it before. And I think, you know, the time is right. It's a beautiful timing, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it. And I'm just so glad you found me.
I found you online, actually. Who could miss you? The Speaking Stylist. How could I miss you? Oh, well, look, thank you for your kind words. And, that brings us to the end of our interview today. As always, thanks for watching Meet the Coach. If you enjoyed our episode, please rate and review us, and we look forward to catching up with you in our next episode. I'm Carla Egan from the Coaching Directory, where we help to connect you with your ideal clients.